what? So research is based on a scientific process, is based on a process that is repeatable, and it's based on a result that is constancy of outcome. So that is where research was common sense. So what am I saying? If you're defining a research problem, there should be parameters to measure solution. When this problem is solved, how do we know that the problem is solved? There should be evaluation criteria. Evaluation criteria for the research was problem. I don't know whether we are together.
We are.
Okay. So can somebody reiterate what I've said about the difference between common sense and research? And then the three things I've said are the yardstick to measure whether or not a problem is actually a research. Who is my guess?
So I said common sense is based on assumptions and the processes are not repeatable. While research is based on scientific process, based on processes that is repeatable. And I couldn't get the last part of your...
There's a constancy of the outcome. You know, that is, you do the same thing under the same circumstance and expect the same result.
Okay.
I don't know whether you're following that.
The constancy of the outcome.
Yes. Okay. I also said something about the evaluation, the criteria for measuring a research problem. How do we know that the problem is really a research problem?
Somebody's background is noisy, disturbing us.
How do we know through that a problem is a risk problem?
When the outcome is the outcome result is favorable to majority of the population.
Okay, it affects a vast majority of people.
Yeah.
All right. I gave 3 points there. There's only one person that's talking back to. Where are the others?
When it's to fill in a gap.
Okay, when it fills a gap, that means it has value additions.
Value addition, yes.
Okay. It has incremental processes and also recyclable.
That one, is that true? Do I said that, but not in this context?
Okay.
If it is measurable and can be evaluated.
There should be an evaluation criteria to measure the solution to the world's problem. So can we at any point say the problem has been solved? What will be the yards? In fact, when you're setting out a research problem or when you're kind of defining your methods, you'll be able to say your decision criteria. You know, how do I, when this happens, you know, under this circumstance, I can say, those of you that are used to hypothesis testing, always put up your decision rule at certain confidence level. This happens, and this happens, and this happens. I will reject null hypothesis and accept the alternate, and then conclude along a certain line. Really call a problem a problem. They should be able to measure, ability to say of that it has been solved when actually was solved. So you would objectively say that this problem has been solved. It's not supposed to be supposed to be objective. You have to have objective defined criteria of measuring solution to research problem. So that is the point. There has to be certain evaluation criteria for measuring the solution to the problem. That's that. And then after identifying the research problem, the next define the researcher. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So step one, identifying the research problem. And of course, I've not even been able to say I've not said to what a research problem is. A research problem starts, or maybe that triggers action. What triggers action? You know, that thing that triggers the mind of a researcher. You know, a researcher, I define a researcher as an ever searching and never satisfied person. An ever searching and never satisfied person. And a researcher has inquisitiveness as a major characteristic. For a researcher, you're always asking the next question. Okay, I found this. So what next? What next? What next? And you know, being a researcher is such a terrible thing that most times he doesn't even agree with himself. A researcher does not even agree with himself. When a researcher makes a finding, initial reaction is to accept his own finding which of solve until he carries out a valid. I don't know whether we are together.
We are.
So if you're a researcher, a consummate researcher does not agree with himself. He doesn't say, I have found a solution. He may have a finding, but he will always tell himself there is more that can be done.
it.
That this finding is not exhaustive. His conclusion, he will always say, this finding is not what exhaustive. I recommend the following areas for further investigation. He makes recommendation for further investigation, believing that what he has found is not the be-all and end-all. That what he has found is not the be-all and all. So that is one of the key attributes of a researcher. Never satisfied, ever search and never satisfied. That's the research. Then once he has identified the problem is that thing that triggers that illness, that thing that provokes his inquisitive mind. The thing that prompts him and he feels he should be. For example, we begin ask ourselves, maybe look at Nigeria's discovery of oil in commercial quantity several years ago. Somebody can begin to calculate how much money that has accrued to the government over this period of time, and then begins to ask himself, why is our infrastructural facility way? How come we still have poor people in Nigeria? How come our educational system? How come this? How come that? And then he begins to ask himself, is there any relationship between what the government earns and the state of the economy? I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he begins to question. He provoked to start asking such questions as, is there any relationship, any correlation, or any causal relationship between government earnings and the growth rate or the developmental rate of the economy? So that can become a research problem, trying to investigate government revenue and economic development. Remember, it started with a thought. A thought just dropped his mind. And then this thought, he kept incubating on it until it grew into a concern, from a fleeting thought to a very strong concern. And then that provoked his as a researcher, and finally set to look at why the economy is the way in the light of the ever-in government. That's the way research starts, with a flash of thought, a fleeting thought, which incubated upon become major concern, becomes an issue for investigation. So like I said, it begins with a problem, then the next thing, the researcher sets what's objective. What does he set on? He begins to ask himself, how do I go about solving what problem? Objective is what's to be done to solve the problem. Are we together? Hello?
Yes. Hi.
Ajay, it's like every other person has gone to bed.
Yeah, I think most of them have gone to bed. Apparently, because tomorrow is Monday.
Well, I'll wrap up in the next 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.
So that I can allow you.
This is the first class, so you are still holiday mood.
Come back. Holiday is over. All right, so like I said, the first identifying the research problem, the research problem is that which has triggered the mind of the researcher. Then the objective is the next thing, are the things that the researcher has set his mind upon to do in an attempt to bring solution to the world's problem. The problem is identified, and then how to go about solving the problem or carrying out investigation into the problem becomes the process. That's the objective. What are the things you want to attempt to solve the world's problem? I will not go any further because there's so much to discuss in the area of research words object. Because I should be talking to you about the broad research object and the research words, and how do you capture the research problem in topical form. These are the things I would like to discuss with by the next time we gather like this. And of course, let me not scratch it in a poor fashion. Let's for another day.
Thank you, sir.
So that I don't end up having myself and having Trinity class. Trinity, that is I, myself, me, myself, and I. So, all right. So I would like to rest my case. But before then, I'd like to answer your question. In the absence of questions, comments, observations, anything, something.
As I think the class was a bit very much interactive, and most of the clarifications needed has been from my own end has been answered already.
All right. That's the lawyer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we still have anybody awake? Have they all gone to bed?
I'm awake.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions, comments, observations, suggestions, whatever. I like us to let's talk. I've not heard from some of you. There are some I'm meeting for the first time. I know Hajia should be. Is it family or family?
Eh?
Hajia, are you familiar?
familiar with